I am Slick Nick, the living legend of hair loss, your personal hairline hero, and of course, the red pill pusher of hair loss. So one of the new themes we've seen develop, very much a strong focus, is the concept of me being a red pill pusher. And let's face it, when you compare me among the other hair loss YouTubers, imagine if you were to take a big stone mountain and carve our faces in it, the Mount Rushmore of hair loss YouTubers. Obviously my face would be on there. I am the fourth most popular YouTuber in the world who focuses on this, so I would make the cut. I would be in the top 4. But as we look at the others, for example, Hairliciously or Bald Cafe, we would be looking at people who aren't red pill pushers. They're actually providing some sense of empathy or a way out to have to the concept of being bald. Whereas me, I'm not telling anybody to get a hair transplant or take Propecia. I'm saying if you need that as a confidence crutch, do it. But ultimately, I'm not going to do that. And why waste your time, energy, and money when you can focus on the 10 things that actually you're being judged on, which I always talk about in this video. You can focus on the things you can control, which are those 10 things. Because sure enough, there's a good chance, even with a hair transplant or Propecia, whatever it is, that's still not going to make you happy because it's not going to make you internally confident, which is what being victorious is all about, as opposed to having that victim mentality, that victim mindset. So here's something I've noticed about the black pill people who watch my videos. For one, they struggle to grasp with the simple concept that my motivation is monetary. My main goal, and I've been very honest, is to make money off of consumers. I'm a creator, you're a consumer, you're bored, you're desperate, and I therefore provide a service or a product. Now, what I don't do is say, hey, here's a bottle of this, buy it for me and I'll make money off of you and it'll keep you from going bald. No, instead, I'm mentoring you, that's the product. I'm providing you a way to heal yourself, and what you came here for was to be healed of hair loss. Instead, I'm saying, red pill man, none of that even matters. Focus on what matters. Be a more likable, attractive person by focusing on these things. I make money off of that mentorship. Now granted, yes, I also get something out of it. Some of you, a minority of you, I'm able to actually convert, and you're able to agree that focusing on what you can control matters more so than something silly like your DNA, which determines whether you'll go bald by age 35, which is very predictable to know if you're gonna go bald. All you have to do is watch that video, ask yourself the 5 questions, and then leave me a comment telling me, not asking me, if you're gonna go bald based on all 5 things. So now that I've been talking more about black pill people in regards to the world of hair loss, I've had a lot of comments come in, and these people struggle with the concept that I'm making money off of their boredom. They struggle with that. They don't understand that YouTube has an algorithm that determines that I will become more successful and popular if I use a formula called quantity over quality. YouTube doesn't care that I make good videos. They just want me to make lots of videos to feed your obsession. So black pills, incels, MGTOWs, they struggle with that concept. And so they're the first ones to troll me. Like, can you believe this guy? He's obsessed with hair loss. Like, they struggle with that. But here's what I've learned about black pill people as I've been reading the comments from black pill people, incel, MGTOW, etc., is I can't help them. And I openly admit only a small percentage of my viewers are willing to accept my red pill way of helping them. They want to hear that there's this miraculous solution to hair loss, and I'm here to say the complete opposite. I'm here to say that doesn't matter to find you. But here's what it makes me think of. It makes me think of homeless people. I live in the Nashville, Tennessee area, which is known for having one of the highest homeless populations in America. And I had made a video years ago talking about, and I'm not the first to notice this, that strangely enough, homeless men tend not to be bald, and they tend to specifically have thick hair. They tend to have the least problem with male pattern baldness, and yet they're homeless. And that's weird. That's one of those weird things. I also pointed out that you'll rarely, and I've never seen, a Mexican homeless person. If you, the concept is they have such a strong community that they won't let their own end up begging out in the streets. And my own personal opinion is that they have a stronger work ethic than most Americans anyway. I mean, who's re-roofing houses? Who's putting in carpets? Who's working in the butcher shops or in the mills? Who's doing the jobs that no one else wants? Meanwhile, the person born in the United States is able to get welfare unemployment. But for the people not born here, they're willing to work harder than the people who are born here. And there's the paradox for you. So I think it's interesting. Look at homeless people. A, try to find a Mexican homeless person. Probably won't find it. And then B, try to find a bald homeless man in general. Less likely to be the case. And I think that's interesting. But, so that's just a little aside. But specifically, let's talk about homeless people. For me, a person who has a full-time job and works very hard for what I have and has side hustles such as this, as I've already established, making me $500 a month just on the side, I'm very much an entrepreneur type of person. I'm very focused on my work, and that's a big part of my identity, which again is in that list of the 10 things that you're judged on. Focus on what your strengths are and find success in that. What you're not good at, don't make it part of who you are, just to laugh about it. But collectively, this is my observation about society, not simply me, but society. Society looks down on homeless people. You know, they do. And you'll see this in movies all the time where someone's homeless and they make fun of them and they get away with it. I'm not saying that's right. I'm saying it happens. Okay? People tend to look down on homeless people. Now, granted, when it really comes down to it, it's probably, most of them are probably because they have mental issues. That's the actual situation that gets them there. It's a matter of they, quote, can't work because they've got a mental block against it in their minds. And it reminds me of black pill people. They are the same people who will tell me that oh yeah, Danny DeVito, he's 4'10" and he's always been bald. Yeah, but he had the halo effect. Or yeah, he had good acting skills. Or they'll give some kind of lame excuse why he overcame the odds. That's what they do. They have a mental block. So here's, in theory, what I'm trying to say here in this 8-minute video. I'm starting to theorize, based on my interactions with black pill people, black pill, MGTOW, incel, that ultimately it's a form of insanity. Mentally, they have a block that prevents them from being able to acknowledge that the 10 things I talk about, that they themselves can focus and invest on those and become more attractive and likable. But instead, they go the other way and say, no, I have no control over being liked, over being attracted, being attractive. And even if I could, you can't trust women anyway because they're gonna find some younger guy anyway. So here's what I'm saying. Are most homeless people homeless because they can't get a job? No. I think most homeless people are homeless because they have a mental illness that keeps them from being able to function in society like the rest of us, which explains why ultimately they can't just get a job at McDonald's and find somewhere to live. If there's no Mexican homeless people, I'm convinced that being homeless is more about being insane, having some kind of mental illness. And I think the same thing is true for black pill people. They can't get help. For me, not a guy who's going to speak logic and common sense. That's why there's that disconnect. So for those of you who are not black pill, MGTOW, incel, and you're a blue pill instead, you still can be saved. You still can swallow the red pill that I offer you. Your comments belong right here.